What up? What up? What up, you guys? It's Blackwing 2040. Welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna be starting, something new. Of course, this whole trend going around using, tier maker, where you could just make your own tier list and you just rank certain things in a specific level, S rank, A rank, B, C, D, and so on and so forth. And I was able to find some ones for, for Power Rangers and for Toku and other Super Sentai and Kamen Rider stuff. So I figured, why not I give this a try? Because, I did a whole Power Rangers marathon last year and it was fun. So I figured, why not just, rank the characters in each of the seasons? And this video is going to be my tier ranking of every single Red Ranger in the franchise. And this is, of course, is from MMPR to Beast Morphers, since Dino Fury didn't air yet. So let's get this thing started. All right, so I already have my my rankings set out. I got, of course, GOAT at the top, Raw as number 2, Mid as number 3, and I got Trash at the bottom. So, of course, we're going to be going in season order, and I'm telling you, my opinions with these rankings are strictly my own. And again, whatever your opinion is on where these Red Rangers are supposed to be ranked at, that's fine. That's your opinion. My opinion is different than yours. So I've done enough chatter. Let's get this started. Starting off with Jason. Now, for a second, let's just take the nostalgia glasses off for a second and just actually think. How much did Jason contribute to the team? Yes, he was the leader. Yes, he's done a lot of things. He's fought Goldar many times. But how much did he contribute? Now, granted, I know Jason pretty much went through a tough patch, I could say, during the Green Candle arc, because he still blames himself for, Tommy losing his powers and everything. And that's a heavy burden to bear, especially when you're, the leader. So it's, Jason's a strong fighter, capable, strong with leader capabilities and everything. And he doesn't really, he doesn't beat himself up a lot, but he's still a strong leader. He's not GOAT, but I definitely will say Jason is definitely, a raw leader. I'll give him that. All right, next is Oriko. I mean, not Oriko. I'm skipping someone. Rocky. Now, I'm going to say I did not like Rocky as the Red Ranger. I really didn't. It just felt like, once Jason left, Rocky just felt stiff, or not really stiff. He just didn't really do much. He didn't really do much in my eyes. And that's why I feel like when the show transitioned into Zeo, he did a way better job as Zeo Blue than he did MMPR Red. But yeah, I'm sorry. Rocky's gonna be put in the trash category. Yeah, that's just me. Oriko is immediately going into trash category because he didn't really do much at all in Alien Ranger. The Alien Rangers got really no development at all, unless the significant members of the Alien Rangers are Delphine and Sestro. That's it. No one else. No one else is really important on the Alien Ranger team. All right, now we go to Tommy. Tommy, Zeo Ranger 5, Red. I could say Tommy has his moments. He's even the moments where he had to rescue his brother from King Mondo and everything. That was also cool. So Tommy does have very well experience because he was leading the team when he became the White Ranger, and now he's officially a Red Ranger. So Tommy does have his good bouts, and of course he's led, the 10 Red Rangers on Forever Red, and so on and so forth. So I gotta give Tommy the GOAT status. And I'm not just doing that because it's Tommy. Like, I really think Tommy was a better leader than Jason. That's just me. This isn't a Jason versus Tommy argument. I just think Tommy was the better leader. All right, next up is TJ, first black leader of the Power Rangers. Now, when Tommy left, TJ had big shoes to fill, very big shoes. But I can honestly say TJ really stuck to his guns. His character was really great. For instance, when Bulk and Skull were, framed for, stealing, he was actually able to step in and prove that Bulk and Skull were innocent. TJ was the one that made the ultimate call to take down Gold Goyle with the turbo ram cannon and everything. TJ did, the right decision. And of course, it was his idea to help, hold the line at the power chamber when it was getting attacked by Divatox. So TJ, in my eyes, he's a GOAT Red. He's a GOAT Red for sure. All right, next up is Andros. Andros, I know at first he starts off as a loner. He doesn't really, I wouldn't say he doesn't really trust anybody, but he does come around into his own to helping out the Rangers, and finding his sister, and of course making the ultimate sacrifice to, kill Zordon. He had to kill Zordon. So that's a lot of things, to bear for himself. And I would also say another defining moment for Andros is when when he brought Astronema to the ship, when she realized that she is Corone and the other Rangers were against it. He's the one that stuck to his guns and just like, hey, this is my sister. She can help us. She really can help us. So Andros does have a lot of defining qualities for himself. So I'll definitely put Andros in GOAT. He does seem like a GOAT Red in my eyes. All right, next up is Leo. Now, Leo is what I would call an underdog Red. Here's why. Because you don't really hear Leo be talked about that much. Leo is someone who is in the wrong place you could say at the wrong place at the right time. Originally, Mike was the one that pulled the red Quasar Saber out of the stone, but Leo had to take over. And another reason why I say Leo is great, because he's the one that made the final blow against Trakina. And he survived. What kind of Ranger survives a point-blank blast? Other than Carter, of course. What other Ranger survives a point-blank blast from their battleizer? Their battleizer basically explodes right on the spot. Leo pretty much saved he saved the day. He saved his team. So, in my eyes, Leo is definitely a GOAT Red for sure. Leo is GOAT. All right, next up is Carter motherfreaking Grayson. I like to call the Captain America of the Red Rangers. He pretty much is the Captain America of the Red Rangers. So, I would say this. Carter definitely, he's a hero all the way through, because, with him being a firefighter and everything, he has, so many heroic qualities to himself. Never giving up on his team. He does have his inner struggles. He definitely does have his inner struggles so far. But when it comes to facing a demon head on, Carter is ready to throw hands like there's no tomorrow. So my gosh, I gotta say Carter is definitely not GOAT all the way, but I'm gonna say Carter is raw. Because here's the thing. Carter does have his inner struggles. And the cool thing is how Captain Mitchell was the one that pretty much inspired him to be a firefighter in the first place. But it's not, Carter doesn't always, get that much amount of, usage of development in my eyes. That's what I'm just saying. Of course, he has a good, great fighting moments for sure. Carter definitely has a lot of those. So Carter definitely goes in raw. All right, next up is Wes, my favorite Red Ranger. Wes has so many defining moments. It's so obvious I'm putting him in GOAT, because here's the thing. He protected, the Silver Guardians, broken helmet. He stood up to his father saying that all the things that he has planned, he did it for him, but now he's in charge of his own life. So not just as a ranger, but as on a personal level, Wes was able to, wanting to, to make his own decisions, make his own footsteps to take control of his own future. Because his father had his own plans for him all the way through. But Wes was like, nah, Dad, I'm stepping out of your shadow. I'm going to be doing things my way. And that was beautiful. I definitely got to put, Wes definitely goes in GOAT. All right, next up is Cole. Cole, I always call Cole like the jungle boy of the, of the team, which he is. And of course, his main objective throughout the entire season was, to find his parents, and then having to realize that his parents were murdered by a friend who was also Master Org. And, even after he defeated Master Org the first time, and Master Org is provoking him, saying like, what, aren't you going to finish me? Are you going to end this? And he was like, I won't go down that path. I'm not going to stoop down to your level just to make things right, because that's not what my parents would wanted. So that's very understandable. I would definitely say, though, he's like, I could say he's pretty much kind of like the team motivator from time to time. But again, he doesn't always get that much development, though. Not all that much. So I probably might have to put Cole in mid, even though he is kind of one of my favorite Reds, and he did save the day in Forever Red. But I think I'm gonna have to put Cole in mid, just for now. All right, next up is Shane. Shane, I could say as far as like development goes, he develops well with his teammates, but on like, a solo point, Shane only has like a few moments of those kind of things, like when his brother was in town and how his brother was going to judge him because he's a skateboarder and everything. But when his brother finds out he's a Power Ranger, like, oh, you're actually stepping up here. I see what you're doing. But that's about it. That's basically it for Shane. I don't really see anything else. I don't really see anything else happening for Shane after that moment. And of course the Battleizer episode, but nothing else really happens for Shane. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put Shane in mid for that one. All right, next up is Connor. Connor definitely has come a long way, because he starts off as the, typical jock personality, hitting on girls, especially hitting on Kira. And then as he progresses, he starts to become less selfish, more aware that it's not about me, it's about the team. And even in the Battleizer episode, when he was using that to just impress a girl, but when when the moments came to happen, when the girl that he had a crush on was in danger, he definitely decided to put his his selfish needs aside to do the right thing. So Connor definitely has come a long way. He's, especially when in the final episode where Ethan was like, oh, a little Connor is growing up. So I definitely got to say, for development, Connor definitely goes in raw. Connor is definitely raw. All right, next up is Jack. Jack is someone who has perfect development, because here's my thing. He starts off as like, I wouldn't say a thief, someone who's on the streets helping out the people who are less fortunate. He gets arrested, and Commander Kruger gives him the offer, like, you could stay here in prison, or you could be a part of something bigger. And so Z was kind of the one that inspired him to do that, and he decides to, decides to become the SPD Red Ranger. And then as the show progresses, you see how at the end, he's at the point where I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I really don't. Like, I want to have a life outside of this. And I can understand that when you're taken up by so much, like when saving the world, and you don't have a chance at a normal life, that's kind of a strain on somebody. So it's interesting how Jack was, he decided to, at the end of SPD, just like, all right, the world is saved. Here's my morpher. Thank you. I'm out of here. So I definitely got to put Jack in GOAT, though. That's a really great storytelling for Jack. All right, next up is Nick. Oh boy, how can I say this for Nick? Nick, who starts off as someone who doesn't believe in magic, he kind of ends up being like a loner who doesn't really trust his team when they thought he stole the money, but of course, it wasn't really true. And then another moments where it just felt like, this heavy burden. The show just came to revolve around Nick too much that I feel like he didn't really have that much development. And plus, he always kept giving up on himself a lot. Okay, so Nick is not trash. He's not a trash red, but I gotta say he's kind of mid. Kind of mid. All right, next up is Mac. Mac, who, of course, the big reveal that he was an android came off as a bit of a shock, but he still didn't let that bother him all the way. It bugged him a little bit, but it didn't become like, a pain in his mind to just, to deal with. He still was able to, shrug that off. He had a few, bouts with his father and everything, but he was still able to, he was the most excited person to become a ranger, and he was willing to help regardless. Even at the end where he kind of he basically sacrificed himself, Mac was actually a really good red. He's not, I know people like to trash on Overdrive a lot, but Mac was actually a really, really good red ranger. So I'm going to put Mac in raw. All right, next up is Casey. Casey is another underdog ranger. Now, what do I mean by that? Around the final arc of Jungle Fury, where the Rangers were earning their stripes to become masters, Casey, he tried everything that Theo and Lily did, but of course he never got his stripes. But in his heart, he felt that Jared was able to be redeemed. He went all the way to the temple and he said, "I'm not leaving without you, Jared." So he fought, Daishi one-on-one and well, you could say defeated Daishi, but he was able to rescue Jared in the end. So I love how Casey he's able to see the good in others. Even when he was asking Dominic, what was Jared like, when you met him? So Casey definitely does have the heart to, he has the empathy to, help out others in need. He's not selfish. He does want to learn how to get stronger a lot. He's very anxious, but he does always feel to help out others no matter who they are. So Casey is definitely a GOAT red. All right, next up is Scott. Scott is a very brash leader. He has a hard time, trusting people. Like when Dylan first came onto the scene, he's always willing to take orders. He's willing to, he always strives to make his father proud, because his father was always, proud of his brother, but never, gave Scott the recognition that he deserves. But it all comes full circle in the end, where Scott was just, able to do, put his life on the line to protect all of humanity to defeat Vengex. And then in the end, his father just, promoted him to, commander of the Eagle Squadron. So Scott's not GOAT, but I still say he's great. Scott's definitely a raw ranger. All right, so now we're on to the Neo Saban Rangers. Jaden. Jaden, he's just so one-dimensional. I don't know what it is. It's just Jaden's main, purpose, just, his main goal is he wants to defeat the Nylok. I get that. But sometimes he's too closed up and he's just afraid to come out of his shell. And every time he leaves and comes back, he leaves and then comes back. I'm just like, dude, if you're gonna leave, just stay gone at this point. Like, don't bother coming back at this point. I mean, as a team, the Samurai Rangers are great, but solo, Jaden is just no. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry if Samurai is your favorite season or if you started watching Power Rangers at Samurai, but I'm sorry. I gotta put Jaden in trash, guys. And Troy, oh my gosh. It's not the actor's fault. I know. It's the production team's fault. But again, there was nothing there for him. There was nothing there for Troy whatsoever. There was no explanation of how Troy was able to see the visions of the legendary battle. There was no explanation of where that energy came from when he did that one punch to free Robo Knight. There was no explanation whatsoever. We know that he's a martial artist, but that's all we know about him. And he also seems like someone who's just too one-dimensional. Some moments he's, happy-go-lucky with the Rangers. Some moments he's just so stone-faced and just quiet and serious. I'm sorry. Troy goes in trash, guys. I'm sorry. All right, now Tyler. Tyler is a breath of fresh air. He's fun. He's energetic. He loves, protecting the Earth. I love his bond with Rexy. He's just like, the big motivator of the team. And it's just after having two bad, Red Rangers in my eyes, Tyler was just basically like a breath of fresh air. I loved everything about Tyler's character. His energy for adventure, for exploring, and I love the fight that he had with Sledge at the end of the first season of Dino Charge. That was like one of my favorite fights ever. And yeah, Tyler was just awesome. So Tyler's a GOAT, Red. Really, he's a GOAT. All right, next up is Brody. Oh boy, Brody. Another character I feel who's too one-dimensional. He just didn't do much. Of course, he wanted to search for his brother, and that got achieved. But after that, it was just nothing. It was nothing. I didn't care about Brody whatsoever. I really didn't care for him at all. So Brody's in trash. Now, last but not least, Devin. I didn't know what to expect from Devin. Devin, who I see as someone, he's not a slacker. Sometimes, he may goof off just a little bit, but he's still a great Red. And I love the moments with his father, how, when his father was trying to figure out where you go all the time, you come home with bruises and everything. And then when his father realizes that, oh, my son is the Red Ranger, again, going back to those Time Force vibes, I found that awesome. I found that really, really awesome. So one thing I would say, how at the end of Beast Morphers, when Devin becomes the commander of Grid Battle Force, when he had no interest of becoming the commander at all, not saying that him and being in charge is a bad thing, it's just it was never brought up at all. It was never brought up whatsoever. So I'll definitely got to put Devin in Raw. I'm definitely got to put him in Raw. But he's still a great Red, though. No lie. I can't deny that. So anyway, that's my rating. These are the Red Rangers that I have. Let me know in the comment section below where you would have put in these Red Rangers, and be civil. Don't, get into hostile conversations in the chat section. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to be notified. It really helps out the channel. Don't forget to also follow me on all the things: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. And also make sure to click the bell on Twitch so you'll be notified of whenever I go live on Twitch. But thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, this is it. I hope you guys like it. Expect to see more of these later on in the future, because I like doing these. These are pretty fun to share my opinion on. And as always, I am Vengeance, I'm Darkness, I am Blackwing. Stay golden.